Ooh, different backdrop today. Now, all right, we go from Lima to Seattle. Find out what's going on in CONCACAF in this gentleman's mind. Find out what's going on in Major League Soccer, the week that was, the week that will be. We're going to cover it all here in the next half hour. Time to go to Seattle and find out what cup of coffee our buddy Niko Moreno is on. What cup of coffee are you on, sir?
Hey, what's going on, John? It is cup number 2. I am down here in the dining area because the kids are home and they are in spring break. So there you have it. That's why I'm down here.
All right, hey, it's all pretty and it's all good. He's on cup number 2, so that's where we're at. All right, so we started out in hour number 1 talking about the craziness that was CONCACAF last night, and it was probably a bit of a late night for you having to watch Cascadia on display, and then before that it was LAFC and Messi and friends, and I went over the numbers of both Oscar Ustari and Messi last night. The matches had different kind of crazy from different kind of perspectives. Your thoughts on what went down last night in CONCACAF?
Man, it was it was very CONCACAF-ish. It with two MLS teams, which doesn't usually happen. I think that we mentioned last week that Inter Miami was the favorite going into this one because you were not going to get another game where Messi was mortal, and regardless of how well systematically LAFC plays, sometimes it feels like there's a need for one more X factor in that attacking end, and Danny Buanga can't do it all. Danny Buanga cannot be the only one responsible for scoring goals. It seems like he's the only dangerous player that's consistently getting into those spaces to be dangerous. And in this one, even though LAFC started on the front foot and they put Miami on their heels and they score first, the away goal that they needed is what they get right off the bat. And even then, they're unable to kill the game. And Javier Mascherano said it after the game. Once I figured that it was the 25th, 30th minute, and LAC had not finished us off, I knew that we could get back into this game. And that's what happened. Little by little, there's that goal that gets invalidated because Messi doesn't wait for the referee to blow the whistle. But it kind of gives that hope, that feeling of we can do this to Inter Miami. And after that, it was all Inter Miami. And credit to Javier Mascherano again, that he's a coach that I did not feel like had the career or the certifications, if you will, right, to handle this Inter Miami. But he did a great, man. I mean, that three-man build out that he kind of put together there. At times it was Redondo, at times it was Cello with Noah Allen and Falcone. It was just so fluid. It had so many components. It allowed Jordi to just be basically another winger. There was so many numbers moving forward for Inter Miami in the second half, and you give Messi too many chances, and he's gonna come get you. He's gonna bite you. Great goal for the equalizer. They built off of that. Then in the second one, did Redondo put his head on it or not? It doesn't matter. You're putting balls into dangerous positions. And then to finish off the game, absolute handball. Don't know what you're thinking with your hands out there like that inside the 18. Messi puts it away. End of story. LAFC does try to get back into this game in the last 10 minutes or so. Little too late. There's no way that you're getting back into this one. And Inter Miami goes through. Definitely the favorite in this one. And I'll spend less time on the Vancouver game, although they deserve every single credit for being relentless, man. Because look, I thought they were the better team against Pumas because they were playing their game. Pumas certainly had a lot of chances. Big Memo Martinez was a handful, with the aerial balls and being able to get headers every single time. But Pedro Vite, what a player. I thought he was the man of the match in this one. So good on the ball, so good defensively, so balanced. And although in the 88th or 80 plus minute, Pumas gets the 2-1. Vancouver never stops moving forward. And Ocampo, who had the exact same cross at the end of the home game in the first leg, that is a header that doesn't go in this one, Ocampo, same cross in the 93rd minute, results in Vancouver getting that 2-2 equalizer, puts them through. And man, it's just, it talks about Vancouver and the belief that they have that they can be in every game because of their offense.
Well, and you mentioned Vancouver, and it's a continuation of what happened last year with Vanni Sartini, where you had the belief in Vancouver, and they trusted what Sartini wanted to do with the build. Then they go their separate ways, but it looks like this season it has gone to that next level. Any idea why it has gone to that next level under the new head coach up there?
I honestly, God, I hate to say it like this, but it's basically the inertia is still from Certini, in my opinion, and it is the belief of certain players that have continued to grow, and it is the acquisition of a guy like Ocampo, who I think has been very important for this team and what they try to do out wide. But I do believe that when a coach has done so much, like Vini did, to kind of put it all together, now the new head coach gets to take the credit because it's kind of what's been kind of working. Now, credit to him as well to continue to build off of that. And if anything is different, I do think that defensively, Vancouver does tend to keep its shape a lot more. I think that he also is putting Pedro Vite in a position that he likes to play and feel more natural on. At times, Certini would move Pedro Vite as a fullback and put him out wide, but this is where he doesn't like to be necessarily there at all times. And I think those maybe are a couple of things that we can definitely go into the new head coach. But at the same time, I just think Vancouver has a certain belief, has a group that has a lot of continuity, and that at this moment in time, they feel like they can beat any team. And getting back into that game at Estadio Universitario, it's not easy to do. Again, obviously, for those who don't know, the casual soccer watchers, it was 1-1 on the score line, but it was 2-2 in the aggregate. And then because you scored two goals away, that's kind of what puts this one of Vancouver getting through.
Yeah, Jesper Sorensen, the new head coach for Vancouver. And the thing is, I can guarantee you that Jesper Sorensen, and the joke that I use every once in a while is Jesper Sorensen, to a lot of folks, probably wasn't a household name in his own household. And Sorensen comes in, and then there were a lot of folks that were raising the people's eyebrow going, why would you hire Jesper Sorensen? Because, and they would list A, B, C, D, E, and F. And right now, you've got a team, top of the table in the Western Conference, made their way to the semifinals in the CONCACAF Hemispheric Extravaganza. And so I think that folks need to be paying more attention to what Sorensen is doing with taking over with what you said, with the foundation that Vanni Sartini's laid out, and then adding his own little bits, especially defensively. And you mentioned with what he's doing with Pedro Vite. Look, I don't think you can sleep on Vancouver anymore. And I think last night, once again, reinforced that.
Yeah, look, they're the highest scoring team in the Western Conference. I don't know if in the league, but I know for sure they're the highest scoring team in the Western Conference. And at this point in time, yes, I mean, Sorensen does deserve the credit because regardless of, you got to get these guys to buy in into the new head coach. You got to get him to buy in what you're trying to execute. I thought that he had a really good game plan against Pumas, and he was not afraid to rub a dope a little bit and just take some of that pressure that Pumas did put him under. I thought that in set pieces, the things that were lacking in the first leg, they were not necessarily there in this one. He did a good job at least overpopulating the places where Memo and Coco Carquilla kind of hurt him. So, man, I thought that in that regard, you do got to give him a little bit of credit. But again, I do want to say that this group, this talent pool, Do I think that it would have been any different with Sartini? I don't know, man. I feel like this group is that good right now, and they just got the different belief. But yeah, absolutely. Oh, and now it was 3-3 in the aggregate. I'm sorry, not 2-2, but 3-3 in the aggregate. And those two goals away is what puts Vancouver through.
Last week in Major League Soccer, Messi and friends drew Toronto, and everybody was like, ah, freaking out. San Jose put 6 on DC. I'm going backward from Sunday to Saturday. San Jose put 6 on DC, and it could have been a lot worse for DC. I'm still keeping an eye on DC, and I'm wondering who didn't make it off the tarmac onto the plane to come back from the West Coast.
Yeah, man. Look, it was a bloodbath, if you will, right off the beginning of the game, with Arango scoring a game under 10 minutes. It was kind of a perfect storm there for San Jose, because Joseph Martinez was feeling himself, and he gets the hat trick. I think that this team is so much better offensively when Pellegrino and Espinosa play together at the same time. Clearly, a cameo return, if you will, for this team to show and display what they can do offensively. I think Martinez and Arango can play very good off of each other. And if they can continue to build off of that, you can squeeze the last drops of potential that Martinez has, and he can be a killer in front of goal. You just got to get him the ball there, and you got to work with him. So defensively, he doesn't have to do so much, right? You want to keep his level of energy. You got to sustain him. And I think that Bruce Arena did a great job in this one. But DC United, let's not forget about them. Complete disaster. I mean, they could not hold the ball in possession. They could not limit. It seemed like San Jose was cutting through their midfield like a knife through butter. I mean, it was so simple. There was nothing that San Jose was doing that I think was very complicated to figure out. The triangles and the way they were moving the ball, but DC just had no idea. DC has no one in that midfield that can get you the ball back. They don't have a disruptor. They're too spread out. They're just a team that has a lot of holes right now.
All right, what the heck happened in the 3-0 loss to San Diego with Seattle?
According to Brian, just 3 things, and I push back on that. I think it was more than that. We've had different discussions here with guys from the beat about how bad they lost and how good San Diego was. Clearly, Brian took responsibility for that first goal, first minute, corner kick. It's a quick restart on a short corner. Nobody sees it coming. When you do see it coming, Ferreira and Christian Roldan push to Chucky Lozano, who is the guy that gets the ball short on the corner, and then they get completely taken out by one move. One move, 2 players. He gets around them like training cones, puts the ball in, and it's all over after that. Brian did say he took accountability, that the team wasn't ready to go right off the bat, that sort of situation does fall on him. I appreciate him taking accountability for that because I couldn't agree more. We knew going into this game, and I said it here and I said it everywhere that I was on, and I'm just some dude that watches soccer, and I knew that restarts and set pieces is what San Diego likes to do to take advantage of games. That's where they have an edge on teams. They don't it's not that they don't expect it. They just do it very well. And there was a couple of times in this one. One was a free kick before the first half where there's a ball that comes in behind Rienzi, Costa Rienzi, and it almost leads to a Chucky Lozano goal. So I like that Brian said that. Clearly, the Georgie Manungu experiment up top does not work. I'm very concerned about this. If Brian is more willing to try Georgie up top at the 9 rather than playing with Jesus Ferreira at the 9, that says a lot about what Brian thinks or doesn't think of Jesus Ferreira up top. Brian kind of mentioned that, it didn't really work, but, George's not really a nine. Oh, but Jesus not really a nine. He could play up there, is what he said. Don't like that quote. Because, and I had a back and forth with Craig Weibel just a week ago where I told him, look, the need for this team was striker. So Jesus Ferreira, you brought him in, sure, as a versatile player, but you kind of mentioned that he could play the nine at elite level, and that just doesn't seem to be the case. So in this one against San Diego, that did not work. Jesus Ferreira still looked a little bit lost. The pressing by Seattle was a little bit too high, in my opinion. They were able to, San Diego was able to just play through that press, but they lost the game in transition. Transition was by far the easiest way San Diego scored. Nuhu way too forward. There was a bunch of space behind him. It seemed like San Diego knew exactly how to exploit the spaces behind Nuhu, and it was all over after that. So I think just San Diego is that good. San Diego is a team that understands the way they want to play. I think that midfield completely tore apart Seattle's pivots. Anibal Godoy, De La Torre, and Vesterkov. They were just so good. They were just so much better. However, and I'll try to finish here, there's a lot of that willingness, and Brian talked about it in the post-game conference where he was like, look, defending in transition is a lot about effort. And there were times where, man, 40-year-old Anibal Godoy cannot just be the runner into the box and hit that ball as open as he was. And the guy that's closest to him is Georgie Manungu, who's the guy that got dispossessed on the right flank. So a lot of things that Seattle needs to do better. Brian talked about the possibility of changing formation because of the lack of results. I think that might benefit the team. Although the 3-5-2 or 3-4-2-1 was designed by the Seattle Sounders to create more opportunities in offense, to create havoc, to add more numbers and win the positioning number battle in the field up top. It hasn't worked offensively, and it's made you vulnerable defensively. So I think going back to the default 4-2-3-1 might simplify things and get this team in the right direction, but still not good enough once again. And you got outplayed off the field against San Diego FC.
And then you have to now turn around and play in the Jesus Ferreira Bowl, where you're traveling to FC Dallas. FC Dallas right now, slight favorite at a plus 161 in the composite. Draw is a plus 223. Seattle's a plus 169. How do you see this one shaking out with the possibility of the formation change and trying to put people in positions where they can succeed where Seattle's concerned in a game that has the context that it does?
And it's going to be difficult. I quite honestly, what's the numbers on Seattle again?
Plus 169, slight underdog.
169. Wow. Look, Seattle has one thing going for themselves this week. Jordan Morris seems to be back and ready to go. I will be asking this question later on today, but I feel like this Seattle team is too dependent on Jordan Morris for the offense to work, but he'll be back. Pedro de la Vega was lights out this week. So I'm going to go ahead and say that Seattle gets the result at Dallas and sparks their season in the right way. Let me say this again. I believe that the Seattle Sounders will win away finally. First time this season at Dallas in the, if you want to call it the Ferreira revenge game coming back home, you can. I believe in Ferreira's talent as a player. I think that he has the potential to be a good player for this team. If you play him under Jordan Morris with Pedro de la Vega next to him in that build out of having two camps behind Jordan, that's what worked in the preseason. So I think it'll work in this one if that's what Brian decides to go with. But I think that Seattle has enough to beat a Dallas team that, look, to be honest, surprised me against Atlanta. So maybe I'm giving the Sounders a little too much credit. But I feel like this game, in my gut, feels like Seattle could win it.
All right, let's run through the rest of them. And cliffhanger, once again, you want to start talking about something you can. We'll save Atlanta and New England to the end. Toronto Toronto and Minnesota United. Toronto is a home dog. Go watch something else. Like Atlanta and New England, which is going to start 15 minutes later. 4:30 Eastern. Purple team hosting Red Bulls. Purple team's a minus 128 at home. Red Bulls are a plus 336 on the road.
Wow. What's the draw?
Draw is plus 268 in the composite.
Well, yeah, give me the draw. Give me the look. Orlando City's been good. I'm not gonna lie about that, but so has New York City. I mean, I'm so sorry, New York Red Bulls. I'm gonna get killed over here. New York Red Bulls have been good as well. Very compact, very balanced. And I think this one is going to be one of those things where you kind of eliminate each other on the field, and it ends up being maybe not a boring game, but one with not a lot of scoring opportunities. So I'm going to go with the draw in this one.
All right. So then you go past that one. CF Montreal finally gets a home game. They've said that the weather, I guess, is more than 10 degrees Fahrenheit. So they're going to get a home game, and it's going to be Charlotte. Charlotte, by the way, is a dog at Stade Saputo at a plus 195. DC at home. DC at home favored against FC Cincinnati at a plus 131.
Hold on. What?
Uh-huh. I'm staring at it right here. Right here.
Oh, no.
In the composite. Look, from our friends.
Cincinnati hasn't been good by any, stretch of the imagination compared to what they have. But give me Cincinnati on that one without a doubt.
Plus 185 for Cincinnati. DC United at home is a plus 131 in the composite. So you jump on that now before they figure out that this is a line mistake, as the kids say. Also, it is a plus 185 for FC Cincinnati. NYC and Philadelphia. NYC, I think they are playing at the U12 pitch at Yankee Stadium. I think that Philadelphia is a plus 189 on the road at NYC, who's a plus 127.
I don't want any of that, but I will say this. I was surprised that Philadelphia let go of Gosdog. I mean, he was a player that I felt kind of was the one creative player there for that team. He did so much in the scoring end. He just had a feel for goal. I don't know how they're going to replace him. I looked at that roster yesterday, and I hope they have a guy in mind because they're going to need him.
Vancouver coming off of the win in the advancement in the CONCACAF Hemispheric Extravaganza. At home, 4:30 Eastern time start. 4:30 local time start, 7:30 Eastern. Vancouver hosting Austin FC, and they're favored at a minus 109. After playing yesterday, turning around, and they're going to play Wednesday, Saturday, and they're favored at home at a minus 109, taking on Austin FC.
And what are Austin's numbers?
Plus 293.
Yeah, I'm going to take Austin on that one. Again, they're going to have to rest some players. They were once again stretched out to the very last minute. That midfield, Cubas, Vite, they have to be absolutely exhausted. I would hope that you rotate in this one. And you got to think about the next game in CONCACAF Champions Cup as well. You don't want to get anybody hurt, overexert. So, yeah, give me Austin.
Yep, right there with you. Nashville at a minus 120 hosting RSL at a plus 304. Colorado at home a plus 139 hosting San Diego, who's a plus 175. San Diego at Colorado. San Diego is the dog at a plus 175 right now.
Wow, that's crazy too. Look, looks like there's an opportunity for some nice parlays this time around. If you don't want to go too far into it, but man, look, there's some sure stuff right there for me. Like I said, that Cincinnati game is good. The San Diego game seems to be another almost lock. Austin seems like a lock. Give me all those games. Look, I don't want to disrespect Colorado. Fine team. They've done some things. They did get outplayed by a Vancouver team that needed to think about this upcoming game that they just won. They rotated a little bit. So, man, give me San Diego. They've been too good, too consistent. Even the games that they haven't won, they've been better than the other teams. So, yeah, give me San Diego without a doubt.
All right. So I know here's one that you're going to be intrigued by. I know you're not going to touch it. LAFC at home minus 196 hosting San Jose. San Jose is a plus 469 to win.
San Jose is a 469 to win?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, that seems just like a trap for you just to
I
Flip
said
chip.
I thought you'd be interested, but I know you're not going to mess with it.
No, man. This is the one that you're like, man, I'm gonna put my paycheck on. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do it. Don't do it. It does. It feels good, right? They're coming from a six scoring game, 6-1 win. LAFC between trying to fight Messi and Falcone and everything that happened there in the middle of that game, and probably pretty disappointed. Just don't do it. LAFC is more than likely going to take that game against San Jose. I won't touch it though. Either way, I'm not touching it.
Nope. Galaxy is a plus 110 at home against Houston, who's a plus 2.25. Sporting hosting Portland on Sunday, favored at a plus 114. Portland is a plus 220. Chicago and Messi and friends. Messi and friends, after playing at home with everything that was on the line, at least they have to wait until Sunday. So they're the middle game on Sunday, traveling to Chicago as a favorite at a plus 134. Chicago at home is a plus 171.
Woo! Man, I don't know if I like that one. What's the draw?
Plus 270.
Look, I'll take the draw in this one while you look at the goal composite for the Sporting Kansas City Portland game, because I don't know why I got a little bit thick on that one. But look, this one, Inter Miami, regardless of them, they're probably going to have to rotate pretty consistently. Chicago's a team that has been very up and down for me, and there's times where they look like they understand exactly what Greg wants, and there's times where they just feel like they can't get it done on the field. I like that as a draw, but the Sporting Kansas City Portland game, to me, I would like Portland and the goals, depending on what that looks like. I could see what's the three on this one?
3 is a plus 117. That's where it flips. 2.5 is a minus 151. 3 is a plus 117. 3.5 is a plus 160.
Ooh.
That to me sounds like you'll watch it and not take it.
Yeah, no, we can't take it. But I do like Portland. Sporting Kansas City, they get the bump from the new head coach on the bench type of situation in the last game. Jovic looks good, and he will continue to look good. But defensively, they're a little bit too open. I think Portland's attacks low key dangerous. They can really get forward on you, and they figure it out despite not having Evander. I think mainly because of the efforts of the final end product. They get a lot of numbers in the right places. So I like Portland in this one.
The last one on the board. Sunday Night Soccer, all caps, is a plus 152, hosting Crew at a plus 166. Atlanta, New England. Atlanta, big favorite at home at a minus 192. Revs are a plus 451. Draws a plus 341. The Revs have only scored 3 goals all year, 2 of them from Carlos Gil in one game against Red Bulls.
Ooh, I don't think I would take it just because the numbers are not. What's Atlanta again?
Atlanta is Atlanta's a minus 195.
No. I'm not going to mess with it. What I will say is this: there's no way Atlanta's going to drop this game. But man, they just been hard to watch sometimes. My expectations were so high, and I need to bring those down at some point in time. But I don't think they'll drop this one. I just don't want to touch it because of the numbers for sure.
All right, what's going on? Pulso Sports, Sounder at Heart, and lobbing water balloons.
Absolutely, man. We will actually be recording today because the Sounders will travel and they will not practice here at home tomorrow. So expect that early segment of what we learned this week, me, Jeremiah, and I. We will be breaking down everything about the week of. Ryan Kent was supposed to be in Vancouver yesterday, by the way, handling his visa situation. So there is a chance, a possibility that if it all goes well, he does travel with the team or at least meets them in Dallas if need be. And I don't know, maybe you get to see the first Ryan Kent debut. That's going to be very interesting because he's looked absolutely lights out. So go ahead and wait for that pod today with Jeremiah and I. We'll break it all down, give you guys any updates that we'll find out today. On Monday, of course, Lovin's Coaches Kickoff with Ari. That's been a big success. People seem to really like it, really appreciate everybody's support on that. And on Pulso Sports, everything that we've heard from coaches, from players all week long, that's been on Pulso Sports. Go ahead and check it out.
As always, my friend, great to see you on Thursdays. Go enjoy your second cup of coffee. We will catch up with you over the weekend. Enjoy the Jesus Ferreira, Paul Arriola revenge game, and we will catch up with you next week.
All right, John, man. You take it easy, man. You the man, man. This show gets better every time I get on here, man. You the man.
Well, it's because of us. We hang out. It's all about the reps. We get reps. We get consistent. And we're rocking and rolling. Be safe, my friend. We'll see you.